What up? It's your boy T-Bird and reaction to today's Wrestle Wednesday. So this weekend marks the next pay-per-view WWE, which is Extreme Rule, and this year is getting more and more. It has gotten more extreme as well too. So that being said, we're gonna check out partsFUNknown, both top 10 worst extreme pay-per-view matches and their top 10 greatest pay-per-view matches. So without further ado, let's do with the worst first. See what was considered the worst pay-per-view matches. Probably all the damn half to damn near all the matches of last year's Extreme Rules, because not nearly any of it was barely extreme. But anyway, let's get to it.
Have you ever noticed that for the longest time in WWE, Extreme Rules hasn't been very extreme? Like, the main event will be contested in Extreme Rules, which means anything goes, except pinfalls must happen in the ring, apparently, so I guess the match has some rules. But then the rest of the pay-per-view will just have normal matches contested under normal rules. Now, what I'm trying to say is that after a few years, this is one of those pay-per-views that feels like it's more of an annoyance for WWE to actually book around than a show that could and should be a hardcore variety show. A bunch of silly, different stips for a one-night-only special gala feel, and not a Demon King flopping on the floor like an electrocuted salmon and falling on his tits after some unsatisfactory ring maintenance. Under the Triple H era, things are looking exceedingly promising for Extreme Rules. Bayley for champion, pretty please. And next week we'll cover the best matches, but for now...
No. I got a feeling they're gonna do it, but no. Do not take the title off. Do not take the title of Bianca. No. At least wait till WrestleMania or something to take the title. Don't take her all that soon, man. No. Don't do that.
Now, let's have a quick look back at some of the worst that Extreme Rules ever chucked up on our shoes. I'm Adam, hailing from partsFUNknown, and here are the 10 worst Extreme Rules matches ever. And while you're here, please like and subscribe. We've done a load of lists with a bunch of, hey, this is the best matches and these are the worst ones. We've done that with Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania. Give it a watch. What else are you going to do? Nothing, that's what. Number 10, Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler 2018.
Okay.
Way to start off with a match that was entirely not the fault of those in the ring. Us for wanting the IC title to main event a show, I guess. If you were to put a pair of lads on a pay-per-view and say, go a half hour and tear the house down, Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler would be a solid choice for those two. See the end of 2014 Survivor Series, after all. But because this is Extreme Rules, where just tearing the house down is not extreme enough, this was a 30-minute Iron Man match. Not only has WWE had a little difficulty working out good ways of booking their Iron Man matches for the last decade plus, but this match also included every WWE fan's favorite thing, apparently, counting. But whereas fans counting down is a benefit, you know, in the Royal Rumble, in an Iron Man match, where dudes are just trying to wrestle a fucking match, it's not in fact beneficial to count down and make a buzzer sound every time 60 seconds pass. Then they took the timer away and the fans booed because someone took their toy away. The expensive toy they were smashing against the ground like fucking toddlers. Number 9, Tag Team Turmoil Extreme Rules 2010. WWE had a real problem with their tag division in 2010. Problem they felt the need to accentuate by beating the entire division in one match, thanks to their love of Tag Team Turmoil matches. Extreme Rules 2010 exposed WWE's lack of tag depth in a big way. Keep in mind this was still 1 month before the debut of the Usos, so this tag division consisted of John Morrison and my personal favorite wrestler ever, R-Truth, Mark Henry and MVP. Don't they go?
Yeah, this is when MVP was a face, and both him and Mark Henry was faces. They was known as WSM MVP.
Go together like chalk and cheese. The Hart Dynasty and the reigning unified tag team champions, ludicrously named Show Miz. This match was an impromptu tag team turmoil match as well, with the Miz egging on Teddy Long to just keep adding tag teams to this tag team match player, and Show Miz dispatched Truth and Wisdom in just 3 minutes and 13 seconds, which is somehow less time than their WrestleMania opener, before beating MVP and Henry in less than 2 minutes and losing to the Hart Dynasty in 11 seconds. The Hart Dynasty would win the tag titles the next night on Raw, and Show Miz would go their separate ways, but not before contributing to this damning display of apathetic tag team booking. Number 8, Cody Rhodes versus The Big Show 2012. You know what? This one is a bit of fun, kind of. Big Show's run as Intercontinental Champion was a short one and a bit naff, winning the title from Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 28, so it is appropriate that the match in which he lost the title was also short and a bit naff and a bit of a whoopsie-poopsie. At Extreme Rules 2012, Cody and Tall Paul took part in a tables match for the IC title, and depending on who you talk to...
this one, his foot went on the damn table. Oh, was it?
The best or worst finish to a tables match in history. After 4 minutes of nothing much, Big Show went to step over the top rope, only for Cody to drop kick his foot backwards, resulting in Biggles losing his balance and just stepping through a table at ringside. With a rare bit of brilliant camera work from WWE capturing his reaction, which can only be described as that trombone noise from The Price is Right. It is very funny, but also a bit of a wet fart in terms of a tables match. Sort of like we have to do this finish at least once, probably, so let's just do it, just to say that we have, rather than anything that's, good. Number 7, John Cena versus The Big Show, Extreme Rules 2009. While Big Show's match with Cody Rhodes was fun and/or laughs, his 200th match in the worst destined to do this forever rivalry ever between him and John Cena was no fun and even less laughs. After the pair wrestled at Judgment Day 2009, where the story of the match was that Big Show was too big of a show for Cena to put in the STF, they ran back that classic at Extreme Rules 2009 in a submission match. You know what the one exciting part of these Cena Big Show matches was? The bit where Cena wins with the AA, because the Big Show is big, and even though they rerun that shit more than The Simpsons, it's fun to see Strong Boy lift Big Boy. So by slapping a submission match stipulation on it, they effectively killed the excitement that comes with the impressive feat, because there was no pinfalls. Submission matches are usually more boring than standard matches to begin with, and Cena and Big Show aren't exactly the technicians you would need to make the stipulation exciting. Also, they went 19 minutes. How fucking dare you? Number 6, the Eye for an Eye match 2020.
The tough time we was going through in the pandemic. God darn, man.
If it isn't my old friend from the stupidest one-off wrestling stipulations list, go and watch that list if you haven't. You'll like it. The Eye for an Eye match is difficult to place because, as people have rightly pointed out, the work involved in the match is very good. It's got Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. How could it not be good? Well, you see, the problem comes from not being able to suspend your disbelief for even a second, because what sort of sanctioned sport is won by, checks notes, optic surgery? Watching famous good guy Rey Mysterio struggle to impale Seth Rollins' eye with a broken kendo stick, perhaps in an effort to pull it out like an olive on a toothpick, it's just too much, man. And that's before Rey holds a CGI gumball to his head while Seth vomits everywhere. Again, the work involved keeps this match from being closer to the very end of the garbage spectrum, but it'll go down as one of the dumbest and most desperate ideas WWE ever had. Number 5, the Ambrose Asylum 2016. It is a wonder how WWE continually messed up the concept of a steel cage match. Put them in a box and let them fight. Stop running away. Just fight. Much less how they managed to mess up the concept of one with weapons all over it. The Ambrose Asylum match was a culmination of Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose's 2016 rivalry, one everyone tried to forget about before they were stabbing each other in the eye in AEW years later. Why was it bad? Because someone decided this blow-off match to establish Dean's brutality. He wasn't really brutal by that point. I mean, even so, they named the match after him. It was supposed to be his coming out party before he wins the WWE Championship. Are you sure it's time for yuck yucks? Every time Jericho would grab a weapon, Ambrose would grab a comedy prop. Ambrose swung nunchucks around like your 9-year-old cousin with a Wii remote. To be fair, there was a thumbtack spot, which Jericho took like a champ, but it's very weird after all that. This could have been a great way to finally propel Ambrose to his WWE Championship win a month later, but instead it was a perfect representation of the goofball antics WWE projected onto dear old Dean. Number 4, the Hogpen match 2009. Fuck off. Just fuck off, though. Sometimes something on pay-per-view doesn't end up being pay-per-view worthy for one reason or another, but usually it isn't worth getting worked up over. The Hogpen match between Santino Marella in a dress, Vicky and Chavo Guerrero. It just hurts my feelings by existing. This match did not have one single shred of hope of being good, and yet WWE brass still made the choice to make people pay to see it at Extreme Rules 2009. I'm not good enough at maths to work out how.
It was better than we dealt with Santino Marella, the alter ego of Santino Marella, that's with Santina, but they made it worse with that. Oh, God.
How much money people paid per second of this 2-minute, 43-second slot fest, but whatever the answer is, it's too much. What more can you say? It was bad on a legendary level. Vicky Guerrero is a pig, says WWE. Roll in the mud, pig. Oink. Santino Marella isn't a woman like we know what a woman is. says WWE. Roll in the mud, pig. Pig, pig. Number 3, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler versus Jack Swagger and Michael Cole 2011. There are people who will call Vince...
Listen, Michael Cole was annoying as fuck hell. Oh my god. He slow, and the thing about it took him a while to recover from that, because they was still, he turned face over after Jerry King had a heart attack. They still was booing him. Like, so he had a hard time recovering from that. My goodness. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that again, but yeah. He is that era with him being annoying as hell, hating on Dan Bryan, kissing Jack Swagger, hating on Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. He could not recover. He had a hard time recovering with that. He's slowly bounced back. He's physically bounced back now, but he had it hard following that. Even after he turned face, he had a hard time, man.
Vince McMahon, the greatest wrestling promoter of all time, and he certainly is the most successful. But he's also the same dude who watched Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole's all-time WrestleMania stinker and said, let's do it 2 more times. So who's to say who's a genius? WWE had a weird fascination with non-wrestlers wrestling in matches, despite that working approximately 0.1% of the time. And mind you, that does come with a 0.1% margin of error. At Extreme Rules 2011, we got Chapter 2 of Michael Cole-related misery as he teamed up with WrestleMania trainer Jack Swagger to face Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross in a country-whipping match. They whipped each other. Michael Cole was wrapped in bubble wrap. Jim Ross was embarrassed again. It was just a miserable time in the middle of a feud that fans had been done with even before the computer-ruined WrestleMania. Number 2, the Swamp Fight 2020. Boneyard match, great fun. Firefly Funhouse, perfect storytelling. The Swamp Fight at the horror show.
Yeah, the horror story. Oh my god, what we went through for a minute. Thank you, Triple H, for fully taking over the shit we went through, man. Oh my god. Yeah, Vince was really out of touch around this time, man. He was on the deep end. Thank God Triple H taking over, and this week's Extreme Rules about to be awesome.
At Extreme Rules, you broke it. No more cinematic matches. This is why we can't have nice things.
Is this? Yeah, the naked has a naked mole rat got fired yet? I'm trying to remember.
Back to Winnipeg. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt's 2020 rivalry was really quite surprisingly bad. It really doesn't feel like it should have been, and it didn't help that this was the Universal title program right before Roman Reigns returned. No wonder we were excited to see him. After the B-movie camp of the Boneyard and the art house meta of the Funhouse, was a Swamp Fight WWE's attempt at actual horror? Because if it was, you did it wrong. Braun showed up at the old Wyatt family swamp where he was confronted by an evil version of himself, as if Luke had just wandered through the trees on Dagobah. He got tied up and interrogated by cult leader Bray before a fight eventually broke out, and Braun was dragged down to the depths of the swamp where he presumably drowned, and the Fiend then appeared. Look, even the Funhouse had a fucking pinfall in it, so you knew when it was over and who won. Also, there was a projection of Alexa Bliss, because she and Braun were in a mixed tag team 2 years earlier. I don't fucking know. But speaking of Alexa, number 1, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss 2017. It takes a special kind of effort to systematically ruin every potential top babyface handed to you from NXT, but there is yet to be a more damaging match.
Yeah, I think this the one that made her, that did her baby's first one bad. Like, how did they fuck this up? It's this thing. Babyface was Bayley was the ultimate babyface. How could you fuck that up? I guess if your name's Vince McMahon or Kevin Dunn. And that promo she did and everything, it's pretty much her she was pretty much blaming Vince for fucking up her, Vince and Kevin and Bucktooth Dunn for fucking up her face run. That's what that promo was about, though. But she was just whining and everything, like Bianca's callback though. But
to the run of a called-up NXT babyface and Bayley's match with Alexa Bliss at Extreme Rules 2017. You know, the one where they made Bayley afraid of a kendo stick. There could have been a great story here of Bayley not wanting to resort to using a weapon to get her win and fighting valiantly through the pain of her opponent not beholding to the same moral standards. But no, Bayley was afraid of the stick, like she was holding a fucking snake. This kendo stick on a pole match killed any hope Bayley had of regaining the love and respect that made her one of the best champions NXT ever had. The fans turned on her real hard after this, and just in terms of sheer damage, it takes top spot as the worst match in Extreme Rules history. Just this kiss my ass. And that's our list. What's your
All right, cool. So we got we set through the cringing of the top worst Extreme Rule matches. Now we want to check out the top 10 greatest Extreme Rule matches. And we might have some addition to this coming Extreme Rule with damn near every single match has a extreme stipulation. But let's check it out. Oh, of course.
So last week we had a look at the backwash of Extreme Rules, the dregs at the bottom of the can that even an alcoholic possum would turn its nose at. Didn't we all have a fun time? We did.
Poor EC3.
Shut up. Shut your mouth, we did. But this time around, let's look at the very best matches that have extremely ruled. It's hard to write lists, and I've written over 100 of them for Ollie Bloody Davis at this point. And he won't let me stop. Most of these matches are stone cold classics and a stark reminder that even with a pay-per-view format that WWE's mostly ignored for the past decade, you can never fully write it off because almost every single year since its conception, there's been one absolute banger happening in Extreme Rules. I'm Adam hailing from partsFUNknown, the 10 greatest Extreme Rules matches ever. And if you do want to hear us be mean or grumpy or say, swear a lot, because that normally happens in the bad ones, then check out last week's list. 10 worst Extreme Rules matches ever.
Yeah,
there. Number 10, Chris Jericho versus Rey Mysterio, 2009. Many people correctly point to Chris Jericho's rivalry with Shawn Michaels as the best part of his late 2000s run, but what may be on a par with that level of Y2J excellence is Jericho's 09 feud with Rey Mysterio. Obsessed with Rey's mask and taking it from him, Jericho started his performance at Extreme Rules at the merch stand, cutting a great troglodyte-filled promo, working his way through the crowd before beginning his no-holds-barred match for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, these might have been the two best wrestlers in WWE at the time, and they again showed why it was criminal they didn't get an extended rivalry over the Cruiserweight title in WCW. The match also peaked at the perfect moment as Jericho managed to masterfully rip Mysterio's mask off his face mid-619 and rolled him up to win his final WWE IC title. It doesn't quite reach the levels of greatness of their highly underrated match at the Bash a month later, but if this was the second best match in their feud, probably means it was a pretty great feud. Number 9, New Day versus Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan versus Heavy Machinery, 2019.
That was good.
Oh yeah, that was a pretty great match spot on this list. We have the excellent 3-way SmackDown Tag Team title match from Extreme Rules 2019.
Oh man, I missed that version of Otis, man. I missed Heavy Machinery, happy-go-lucky Otis, man. I missed
You've been selective about when they want to care about their tag division, but for 14 minutes on this night, they cared, which is 14 minutes more than in 2020. You had a breakout performance from Heavy Machinery, whose run carried the middle of the match, with people getting genuinely behind them after the match started fairly tepid. You had Daniel Bryan being just the best goddamn best, getting to put his working shoes on against Xavier Woods and Big E, which led to an all-time great tag team finish with Big E shrugging off Bryan's kicks and slaps before catching him mid-backflip, the one Bryan does, holding him on his shoulder while Bryan frantically tried to escape it. E rushed to tag Woods and hit the midnight hour to win the match. It's a brilliant way to cap off a match that started cold but ended white hot. Number 8, Christian versus Alberto Del Rio, 2011. Why did WWE hate Christian so much? I know why Vince hated him. He thought he was ugly, so much so that he famously wanted to put a blue dot over Christian's face whenever he was on screen. Such a normal man he was. For one brief moment, however, it appeared that WWE was finally going to give Christian his flowers after carrying ECW's carcass to the finish line and being Edge's cornerman at WrestleMania. At Extreme Rules 2011, Christian faced notable prick Alberto Del Rio for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship in a ladder match. I hear Christian is alright at that. As ladder matches go, this one is highly underrated arm-based ladder offense from Del Rio, fellow noted nutter Brodus Clay somehow getting absolutely busted open, and Christian finally winning his first WWE World title in a genuinely emotional moment, celebrating with the recently retired Edge, his best friend / kind of brother. Maybe people don't talk about this one as much because Del Rio is in it. Maybe it's because this is 2011, meaning Michael Cole is waxing dickhead on commentary. Or
you see what I'm talking about? His whole heel run was annoyingly cringy. He wanted to punch shit out. He's doing his job of heel, but doing too much of a job that he couldn't recover. He took him a while to recover from after that.
Maybe it's because WWE took this nice moment away just days later, having Randy Orton dethrone Christian Cleed on SmackDown.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that dumb shit they did. Yeah. I forgot they did that nonsense. I'm trying to remember, was he Orton the Hell time or not they did it or what, but I forgot they did that.
Who's to say? But the match itself is a ladder classic, just like number 7, Jeff Hardy vs. Edge, 2009. Another match featuring the slowly crumbling bodies of the men who revolutionized the match type a decade earlier. Jeff Hardy and Edge's 2009 rivalry came to a head in a ladder match over Big Gold. Considering we know now how bad Edge's neck was at the time, being less than 2 years out from his eventual 9-year retirement, it is insane the spots these two put on in this match. They do the inverse of the classic TLC 2 spot with Jeff catching Edge with a twist of fate as Edge goes for a spear off a ladder. They both tumble through a ladder bridge with a landing that, shall we say, sucked. They just go so hard in a ladder match that, again, isn't talked about nearly enough these days. We even got a fantastic finish as well. As Edge reaches for his title, Hardy pulls his legs through the rung of the ladder, leaving Edge to only be able to look up helplessly as Jeff climbs the ladder, wins his gold. It's such a perfect bit of heel comeuppance that has yet to be done as well since. This match is also known as the precursor to CM Punk's second Money in the Bank cash-in, making Jeff's long-awaited celebration wait a little bit longer. Number 6, Daniel Bryan vs. Sheamus, 2012. Hey, look, it's the match they should have had at WrestleMania. But hey, if they had that match at WrestleMania, would Daniel Bryan have got the groundswell of support he got for being so poorly booked, effectively starting the Yes movement and eventual rise to the top? Maybe not. So let's just be happy we got this match here at Extreme Rules. The match in question is a perfect example of how to do a good 2 out of 3 falls match in a way that doesn't make the first 2 falls completely arbitrary, rather than the typical formula of heel gets heat and also a pinfall, babyface makes his comeback and also a pinfall, then the real match starts and people wake up because the finish could now come at any point. This match uses the stipulation to its advantage. In a strategic play, Bryan sacrifices the first fall of the match, losing by disqualification for kicking too much ass, to try and weaken Sheamus for the subsequent falls. He then immediately locks in the yes lock for a speedy second fall win, and then it was a battle for Sheamus to overcome his weakened state to get the best of the conniving Bryan, which he did with one of the best bro kicks ever. This is a clinic and the highest point of Sheamus' run as World Heavyweight Champion, which otherwise...
And my boy, and he's going to be facing for the Intercontinental title as a face as well against Gunther.
Fairly significant fat one. 1/500 fella. Number 5, Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins versus Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, 2017. And a partridge in a pear tree. Now, we're really starting to get into the goodies of this list. If I'm being honest, any of the top 5 matches on this list could have taken the top spot. If they're your number 1, won't argue with you. But this is my list, and this is the order. Please feel free to voice your displeasure at TempestWT on Twitter. Also, we have a fatal 5-way at number 5. And isn't that tidy from my little OCD brain? The year was 2017, and WWE needed to cement a new challenger for Universal Champion Brock Lesnar to face a Great Balls of Fire.
I forgot about that. Oh, that in the first original, he would put the original poster for it, but oh yeah, that. And oh my gosh, it was still a down period for WWE at the time, because this when Brock was holding this when it was Hill Brock at the time holding the belt hostage and barely showing up on at pay-per-views though. Kind of like we getting with Roman right now, but still.
Fire. It hasn't become less bizarre they called a pay-per-view that. Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns were the top guys on Raw. That is the main event scene.
I think and Seth was face.
Involved had a feasible shot at
I think the way Hill was Bray and
Samoa Joe. WWE main event. There is so much to like in this match, be it the furthering of Seth and Bray's rivalry, or just the insane heat Roman was continuing to get after taking over the Undertaker's yard. WWE does multi-man main event matches exceptionally well, and this was one
Roman
of the
was
best
somewhat a tweener, but still a face.
Isn't that just peachy keen? Number 4, The Shield versus Evolution.
Yes.
Everyone always knew The Shield was awesome. Guys, look at the top B.
This
it wasn't
one,
until 2014 that the group started being allowed to properly get over with the audience.
I think this is the first match. The second one was at SummerSlam, I think, and then after that's when Seth turned on them.
Babyface trio.
Yeah, because I think the second match, Seth was rocking the long sleeve. Yeah.
The match with the Wyatt family at Elimination
This was
Chamber.
good too.
An exhibition squash with Kane and the Old Age Outlaws at WrestleMania sex letters, but then Extreme Rules.
Yeah, this was their first match against them.
Into the 3 still active members of Evolution, a faction that hadn't had a real reunion in 7 years. All of them never losers with a penchant for winning the wrong matches, and they got bodied.
Yes.
Evolution put the young certified future stars over
Yes.
as a sheet. in one of the most fun trios matches in WWE history. Maybe the most fun trios match in WWE history, possibly second to their rematch.
The Payback, that was the second one.
The Blue Teaster. It was constant mayhem in the way that made the Shield work in the first place, capped off with a great dive from the Cross, a month or so ahead of the dreaded Plan B. Number 3, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar 2012. Had Brock Lesnar won this match, it would have been number 1 with a bullet. How could you be handed Brock Lesnar on a silver platter? Back from a successful run as UFC heavyweight champion, and the biggest box office drawing combat sport for the last 4 years, and have him lose in his first match back genuinely makes me crosser than a dad who's caught his in the fridge. It didn't even make sense for John Cena to win. I thought the story coming out of WrestleMania was that he'd lost his groove because The Rock beat him, and he wins this match? Nonsense. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled positivity programming. The WWE main event style was very distinct around this time, and this match did not fit that style whatsoever. Brock Lesnar, being the madman that he is, busted Cena open hard way, hit a flying running knee that sent him ass over tea kettle over the top rope and could have killed him. And the match just had a feeling of danger and violence that had been completely absent from about 99% of matches during WWE's PG era. This wasn't polished and clean. It was a snuff film that felt like it could have ended at any time with Brock simply eating the heart out of Cena's chest until Cena wins, lol. Of course. Number 2, The Miz versus Cesaro versus Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens 2016. People bloody love this match. Most people have this match at number 1. And to be honest, fair enough. A lot is said about The Miz bringing some prestige back to the IC title in 2016. And while that's only mostly true, if all of his title matches were at this level, it probably could have happened. This had all the fun of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn fight forever energy mixed in with Cesaro once again doing anything he could to just win a singles title in WWE, while The Miz was trying to do everything he could to steal it away. This match might have had the best pinfall breakups of any WWE match. Everyone waiting for the perfect moment to break things up and give fans reason to believe this is the finish.
Speaking of that, Apex Predator, we're going to get a top 40 or face turns of WWE and top 20 face turns outside WWE, man. Come on, bro. You holding out, man.
Time and time again. There's just so much fun to be had watching this match. Like most 4 ways, it follows the formula of guys taking turns before being dumped down, and new man enters and rotate, repeat. But when the dudes involved are Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, also Miz, I suppose, although, to be fair, his heelish antics are very funny in this match. You have a constant flow of excellent spots that never slows and builds anticipation for an eventual finish, seeing Miz finally pick his spot just right and escape with the title. It would be the best match on most pay-per-views, but not Extreme Rules 2016, turns out. That would be number 1, Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles 2016.
This was a good match.
There is a reason AJ Styles won most publications' Wrestler of the Year award in 2016. It's because of matches like this. Roman Reigns was improving as a wrestler in 2016. Still not quite at the level that he would be a few years later. However, when he was given a top tier,
this my Roman right here. Yes.
Teared a house down.
The big dog.
Him, there may be no wrestler in the world better in 2016 than AJ Styles. Just prior to his heel turn, he was caught in the middle of the club's feud with the Usos, which spilled over into this Extreme Rules match, and everyone got involved. The gang's all here. Some say this match solidified AJ's place within WWE and in the eyes of Vince McMahon, having a blowaway match with the face of the company during a time where the WrestleMania 32 main event scene super didn't light the world on fire. If that's true, it is totally justified because AJ did everything in the world to make Roman Reigns look like an unstoppable world champion, complete with dudes coming off the top rope, dudes being hit mid-air.
Spear,
ridiculous spears. Extreme Rules has had many fantastic matches over its decade-plus history, but this one was phenomenal. I had to say it. I did. Easily, I had to. And that's our list. What's your favorite Extreme Rules?
There we go. So there you have it. Could we have some more Attitude the Greatest or worse? I doubt any worse, but definitely greatest as well too. Coming after this week's Extreme Rule pay-per-view, though. I really hope they don't have Bianca drop the belt to Bayley, but I don't even know right now. I felt a lot of people saying that them doing that match meaning that Bianca don't look weak by getting pinned or anything, or nor Bayley look weak, whatever, or Bayley need folks to look weak or anything if they lose. But still, do not take the belt from Bianca right now, man. Come on, don't do it. But I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.